Hey everybody, Michelle is here. Michelle is in the building. Um, I decided to record this video instead of, do a video instead of doing audio. I'm going to do audio later, but I wanted to do a video because I want to make sure that I am speaking clearly and effectively, and I'm going to do everything in my power to articulate exactly what I'm hoping to relay, based on what I see, feel, and hear, and sense and receive. I've said this for quite a while, and it's still a developing process for me to learn this. And this may be a long video too. That's why I decided I would record it instead of doing audio. But will continually for billions of years be in a development of what it means to be a genuine human being and beyond, because we have and we like to say spiritual, but spiritual is going to start to be obsolete in my wording. I'm going to eliminate that word from my vocabulary at some point because of the fact that it has morphed itself into more religion. And I don't speak about religion because I don't participate in religion. I have nothing against it. It's just not anything that I practice, okay? So I'm going to stick to creational energy for a moment, and I'll and as time goes by, I'll make it very clear as to why I chose to to call it creational energy, even though I didn't create creational energy. That this is how I was taught. I received knowledge. The majority of my knowledge is received from Beam, Billy Meyer. Okay, now let's make this very clear. I said I received the majority of the knowledge from him, but it's still my responsibility to be thinking, contemplating, cultivating, meditating, but not ruminating about what all that means. In other words, I have to filter things through my thoughts and make sure I understand clearly and effectively, what my intentions are. Excuse my eyes. My eyes are all over the place. So though, if I'm not looking directly in the camera, that's fine. Just listen to me. So again, I'm going to do everything in my power to articulate this as clearly and as effectively as I can. So I've said for a long time that the key is in sound. Sound is where the answers are. Okay, it's about sound. It's about tones. It's about what you hear, sense, and receive. And in some cases you can see sound. And I'll explain that in a moment. It is about the sound that has the answers that, I point to the sky, and that's just a habit. Okay, it doesn't mean that there's anything in the sky. Okay, it could be, it's all energy. Okay, and energy has a sound, has a tone that we may not hear, sense, or receive because we're so consumed with everything else going on in the world, going on in more so in our thoughts, that we're drowning out key sounds and tones that will connect us to our realities. Our genuine realities are in tones and sounds. So that's why artists like Mozart, for example, with his disabilities, was able to create the masterpiece of sound as we understand it on this planet. I'm sure it can go beyond that and other planets throughout the galaxy. We need to go there in our thinking. We need to raise our vibrational. You heard what I said? Raise our vibrational. That's a musical tone. That's a tone. That's a sound. Vibrational sound. Vibrational energy. Creational energy. It's all, to me, coming together to mean the same. But there's a stage to understanding. That's the key. And that's what a lot of people don't want to do. We don't want to know anything. We want to think that we know everything. You know, we want to think we are the knowledge. We don't want to be taught that there's a lot of things that we don't know. Okay, now, so I've always said it's in the tones, it's in the sounds, so I, based on my theories and opinions, and I'm having a discussion about it, to be discussed if you choose to, free will, creational energy is a sound. It's a tone, and musicians and those who are dominant in their auditories are the ones that usually can capture it. Okay, but in so many cases, if they are indoctrinated and not developed in their thoughts and when I say they're not developed, that's not an insult. Like I said, we're always developing, but there's a certain level of development for everyone. Okay, there's something about musicians, however, as long as they are clearly musicians, okay, they're doing music based on something that's coming to them and generated out of them. They can pick up a certain level of sound and tone that harmonize with the universe, harmonize with this planet, harmonize with the galaxy, okay? They could pick up that sound, and to the best of their ability, they could reproduce it into something so beautiful. Okay, a lot of people love Mozart. I like Mozart. I am more of a soulful, that soulful, hard sound. Because, to me, soul music is a hardness. And that's not an insult either. You need hard and you need soft. Okay? It's a hardness of allowing you to kind of escape within it. Okay? Like the harmonizing sounds of black soul music from Earth, Wind, and Fire, Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye, Donny Hathaway, Anita Baker, even the sounds of blues. We used to call it blues. James Brownish like, but has a little more of an edge. It's a sound and a tone and a harmony that will keep you in touch with the realities of your situation. Okay? And sometimes in that tones and sounds, you may pick up discrepancies. You may pick up other forces that are like an alert tone for you to pay attention and, attempt to capture it and reproduce it. So that's why I said black soul music, especially from the 60s, 70s, and parts of the 80s, maybe all of the 80s and maybe parts of the 90s. That was that peak period of almost a perfect sound. Even though there's no such thing as perfect, but it was captured in black soul music and also captured in black gospel music as well. Because we know with African cultures, they used to communicate with sound, and in the black culture as well. I've been told through, I don't know if it's folklore, I don't know if it's a myth, but there was a certain culture of Africans that will put out a tone in the atmosphere, in the environment, in the air, and it can be heard from miles away. In black culture, we used to have these hymns the humming. There's something in humming that's actually a harmonizing effect on the sensing and receiving of a human being, where it affects you. So music affects us. Music is the most effective means of communicating, connecting, collectiveness. So, but at the same time, as you are attempting to harmonize tones, there will be some forces that will do everything in their power to destroy that harmonizing sound and bring it into a dynamic force, a field of vibration, of dynamic, if I'm saying that correctly. Where it's deharmonizing, let's say that. Dynamic. I'll get it. Because that sounds more, that word that I'm attempting to pronounce, I think it has more of a forced negativity, and it's more of a projection, right? Either it's harmonizing or disharmonizing. It's either, it's in that positive, negative. And, you have to neutralize it, both of it. That way you'll be able to pick it up. The sounds, the tones. And that's why you can tell by someone's sounds and tones coming from them, you can pick up a whole lot of information from that. And then if you pay attention to the visionary part of it, the feelings and the emotions, and a lot of people that are in their feelings and emotions, they're picking up a lot of sound and energy. They know they can pick up danger if they're in tune properly. They can pick up dangers, and the hair does start. They'll say, "Oh man, the hair is standing on." They get around a certain individual, and their skin is crawling. They're having these physical reactions because of their feelings and emotions. That's very powerful, by the way. All of our expressions, whether we are visionaries, auditories, or feelers, those are powerful expressions, and we all should be equalized with all of it. Not only that, but the energy of the sensing and receiving. That's an invisible force as well. That can be positive and negative, and you have to neutralize everything. So, music to me is equivalent to the creational energy. I know that's saying a lot, and I'll speak more of it in stages. But if you are developing properly, meaning you're meditating, because meditation is an action, right? It's a no thought meditation where you're sitting there observing and taking it all in, because you take things in and cultivate it, contemplate it, and then you reproduce it. Out in it's it's a taking and receiving. It's a constant, it's a spiral movement. It's a movement. And so, but like I said, with having harmony, you can have disharmony. And disharmony can come in the force of one person. But in most cases where it's causing the most damage to this planet, as to why we have an encasement of negativity, is because it's done in a collective of people, a collective of minds. It's a collective of thoughts. It's about the might of the thoughts. Okay, so I hope this makes sense. I'll go into it a little bit more, but it is about the sounds. It is about the tones, and how all of that does affect us negatively or positively. But it has to be, we need to get to the point of where it's neutralized, so that we can recognize the benefits, the advantage, the disadvantage, the cause and effect, the boomerang, reaping what you've sown. Why is this happening to me? A lot of people say, well, check out your tones. kind of tones are coming out of you? What kind of sounds are coming out of you? What are you saying to yourself? Okay, because like I said, you can't fool your consciousness. And I know a lot of people attempt to do that all day long with praying. Praying is, in my opinion, it's like you are attempting to force your will. You're forcing your will instead of with meditation, allowing it to be what it is. What it is as far as what the reality is. What's the reality of it? Instead of attempting to force my will. But everything is self-will. You do what you want to do. If you want to pray, pray. I suggest you meditate, but that's, again, free will. Or do both. And then find out what brings you the best results. Okay. A belief is not going to bring you a necessary result. All it does is just cause massive confusion in your thoughts, and then cause massive confusion with your consciousness. And then your subconsciousness gets involved. And I told you with your subconscious, that your subconscious is like a tap wanting you to resolve this. Okay, resolve this, resolve this. This is not logical. This is not rational. This is not reasonable. Resolve it, resolve it, resolve it. If you don't resolve it, okay, I'm going to throw you into some experiences and you'll resolve it that way. Okay? So, it's about sound, it's about tone, and we have to tap into that. Meditation can take you there. No thought meditation can tap you into that tone and that sound so that you are reproducing the results you want. You could pay attention to what you hear in the environment. What are the animals crying about? Why are the birds crying? There's a disturbance in the planet. I told you, as I was traveling over here to the west, I went to the mountains of a particular state, and I'm not going to say, it's irrelevant. And when I went into those mountains, I felt that I was not supposed to, it's not the fact that I was not supposed to be there, but these results that I saw and I was sensing and receiving were not supposed to happen. We were not supposed to go up in there and disturb any of that for millions and millions of years, because that's part of the core of the earth. But instead, we went in there and started drilling secretly. I know we were there because you could see the tracks of roadways, there was tracks of roadway, and so it's interesting. I couldn't get no cell phone tower. I got no cell phone signals, but honey, I got enough of a signal that we were not supposed to touch that environment. We could have enjoyed the beauty of it, yes. We were not supposed to touch that environment. That environment was the core of our earth that's supposed to protect us for millions and millions of years to come. But we disturbed it, and now it's shifting, and it's imbalance. There's a disruption, okay? There's a, just think about it. We've caused irreparable damage to the infrastructure by secretly drilling and taking resources and not telling everybody, all over the planet what we're doing. I think if people all over the planet knew that this is what we were doing, somebody would hopefully put a stop to it and say, wait a second. Do we need all these 10-story buildings here? Do we need concrete pavement there? The animals would have warned us, but when I was up in those mountains, I saw no animals up there. I saw no roadkill, and that's a key as well. So anyway, it's in the sounds, in the tones, the creational energy It's a sound, it's a tone. The planet sends out sounds and tones, but because of our interference with the harp, with that sphere in Vegas, that sphere, or however you pronounce it, in Vegas, there's more to that than meets the eye. Okay, I think it's weather related as to why it's there. Okay, the harp, that sphere in Vegas. Okay, all of these other sound penetrating weapons, because everything's a weapon. The atomic energy. The atom is a sound. The atom is a sound, a tone. Okay? Particles. A lot of things that, yes, our eye, that are invisible to our eyes, they still have a tone. They still have a sound. It's musical. So whether it's harmonizing or disharmonizing. Okay? That is what we're missing. And like I said, certain musicians were able to tap into that with their voice, and certain musicians were able to tap in that and storytell and talk in a certain tone while they're telling you a story, in music. So many Black female icons were able to do that as well. And some of them paid for it because they were touching and affecting people, affecting their consciousness. And that's what music does, whether it's harmonizing or disharmonizing. It affects your consciousness. So, like I said, there's a lot we don't know. A lot of what I'm talking about is my theories and opinions based on my meditation and just paying attention to my surroundings and being grounded in my surroundings and listening properly. But I'm still a work in progress, okay? I'm still a work in progress. I'm going to be developing for millions and millions, billions of years, and that's all of us. We don't stop developing ever, actually. But, again, we are required to be at a certain consciousness level, at a certain vibrational level in our thoughts, and how that our thoughts are penetrating throughout the earth, the universe, the world, throughout each other. And we have to pay attention to how we sound, what tones are coming out of our mouths, what are we thinking about, most importantly. Resolve our issues, resolve our contradictions, because from where I sit and where I've been over the course of several years is we are it's about space and time. It's about time. And there is almost it's like a ticking, I don't want to say time bomb, but it's like a ticking of sound. And if you're paying attention, you could probably pick it up. And that's why sometimes I feel this sense of urgency, like, okay, Michelle, you need to do, it's like a tap. You need to do this. You need to go. You need to move. You need to move. You need to move. It's a constant, and it's not reminders anymore. Okay, we're not being reminded of nothing. We're being urged. This is an urgency. We're being, we got to snap out of our trances. We got to snap out of our delusion. We need to become conscious of what is going on around us. Okay, it's not just about your house. It's not just about your car. Okay, what's going on with your infrastructure? What's going on with the environment? You know that there's a difference. We all know that. Stop attempting to fool yourselves, because you can't fool your consciousness. It's going to keep reminding you, and it's going to keep throwing experiences in your way until you get it. Okay, and some of you are not going to like the experiences, and some of you won't live through the experiences. That's something to consider. So this is the beginning of what I'm talking about, in that it's a sound, it's a tone, it's a manipulation, deception with sound and tone. People say things out of their mouth because they want a certain result, and they know that's what they're doing. Okay, they know that they are causing harmful effects to people, and that's why they say derogatory things, racist things, sexist things, homophobic things, because they are hurting inside, actually, and they don't like the sounds that's going on inside of them, so they're projecting. They always project and say that, okay, those people are the problem. It's the black people, it's the women, it's the gay people, it's the trans. It's not me. And it is you. 99.99% of the time, it's you. Okay? It's the person that you fail to look at in the mirror, because you'll go in there. I mean, if you ever go in there and look at yourself, some people dress in the dark. Some people don't even look at themselves in the mirror. They just go through the motions. They know they got to wash their face and brush their teeth. They haven't even seen themselves in the mirror because they can't stand the sight. They can't stand the image that's projecting towards them. Okay? So pay attention. Pay attention to the dog whistles. We're going to get a lot of that. It's a political season. And these manipulating sounds that are coming out of people's mouths, disguised as compassion, disguised as empathy, and also disguised as love. You will know, if you love yourself enough, you could pick up, like I said, contradictions where people are projecting that they love, when in actuality they're projecting hate, jealousy, and envy. You can feel it, you can hear it, you can see it, sense and receive it. Okay, so keep going, keep moving forward, keep developing, meditate. Okay, ask the appropriate questions and be honest with yourself. Okay, because at the end of the day, it's you and your consciousness. And your consciousness is not, you can't fool your consciousness under the best circumstances. You're only fooling yourselves. And all you're doing is bringing in this forceful type of negative, unneutralized energy that you may not be able to live through, because you're not going to be able to take it all the time. It's painful. Okay, and some people will take the route of, okay, I can't handle it, and then blow their brains out. Okay, that is going to happen on a more of a continual basis because of our overpopulation. We're disturbing everyone's energy via our thoughts. We're disturbing the energy of the planet, energy of the universe, just disturbing. Okay. All right, so I want to send peace and love to everyone over the stars, over the moon, and mountains. And trust me, I'll be back.